Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Selena as Empath Abroad, and I wanted to come with a new video about what I feel are 5 reasons to teach English abroad. And this is just from my own personal experience. I have close to 7 years and counting of experience teaching English abroad, primarily in South Korea. So some of these responses are filtered through my experience of having taught in South Korea. And also, if there's anything in this video that connects or resonates for you, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I also have a link below if you want to schedule a discovery call with me in case you are someone, one of many, who is interested in what it's like to teach abroad. It's a great way to just kind of rack my brain and ask any questions you have about this experience of going abroad to teach and live. So I'm available and hope to chat with you soon. So, as far as what I feel are 5 reasons to teach English abroad, these are in no particular order, just as they came to my mind. But the first one that I thought of, and if you see me looking down, is because I wrote things on my little notepad. But one of the reasons I feel is that it's a great way to, well, for one, if you're teaching English abroad, and I want to clarify and kind of specify that with teaching abroad, I know that there are many avenues to teach abroad. Some people may teach abroad like, as like a freelance sort of thing. When I'm saying teaching abroad, I mean you are coming to the country with a job offer already lined up. You've already signed a contract to teach abroad before coming to the country. In my case with Korea, I have always come to this country with an offer already, because with Korea they have a very specific process when it comes to their immigration procedures for people who are coming to work as professionals in Korea. So I often get people, even family, they'll ask me like, do you already have a job in Korea? And I'm like, I wouldn't be selling all my stuff and getting rid of X, Y, and Z to come to Korea if I didn't already have something lined up. And this is my 4th stint in Korea. I first came here in 2011, and with each chapter and stint of coming to Korea, I have always had to have the offer lined up. The reason being, there is a specific visa for English teachers in South Korea called the E2 visa, and there is paperwork involved that you have to have completed. You have to do, coming from the US, just from that angle, you have to get an FBI background check done, get your fingerprints, you got to make sure your passport is current. So there's quite a process. And so I feel like going back to reason 1, this is reason 1, teaching English abroad allows you to get into a country in a legal way, to give you the time you need to really get to know the country. My contracts are generally 12 months, but you always have the option to renew. It's usually mutual between you and your employer. Typically, the employer, if they want to renew with you, they'll have that conversation with you at least a few months before your visa for working there expires. They want to have that conversation because if you decide to renew, they want to make sure that they file the paperwork to allow you to get an extension for an additional 12 to 13 months for your visa. So I feel that teaching in Korea allows you to really get into the country legally without not having to look over your shoulder to wonder like, oh, can I stay here? You're already fine logistically, paperwork wise, as long as you, again, just stick to what you need to do while you're working here. Even when you get to Korea, it's not over. Like I say, if you're someone who you love to get your weed on, don't do that in Korea, because you actually have to get periodic medical checkups, including a blood test. They want to make sure there's no drugs in your system. So just make sure you're keeping yourself clean and your system clean before you come to Korea and while you live here, because they don't play that. You want to make sure that all is good to go. So I do feel living in Korea allows you to get in legally. You have a really, decent visa status. You have health insurance through your employer. You also contribute to the pension, which, if I were to add a bullet point to this, depending on which country you come from to teach English in Korea, they have it where, and this is not for all the countries, so I didn't get the list of all of them, but for the US at least, if you have been a contributor to the National Pension Service, which you generally have to be, it's a required deduction, when you leave Korea to go back to the US specifically, in for this example, then you are able to get that money back that you contributed into the pension system. But in order to get that, you do have to do an application, and you have to show proof that you have a flight ticket to go back to the US before they, file everything and they deposit the money into your bank account of choice. So that's a nice thing. I've gotten that the past 3 times that I left Korea, and that money always helped me. I remember one year, I think it was the second time I left, I used that money. It helped me buy my car when I went to the States to return. So yeah, so that is a top, I don't say top, but it's one reason. Again, this is no particular order. The second reason is that if you decide to teach English abroad, you can also do so with a sort of knowingness that this is not a permanent thing unless you want it to be. Like when you come in, your contract is only a year. So if you're feeling like, well, I don't know if I want to fully commit to living abroad, but I could do a year, and a year goes by super fast. Like I'm already looking at, this is the end of 2025 and I got here spring of 2024. And I'm just like, wow, time is flying by so much. So I feel like it's a great way to not feel like you have to fully commit to living abroad. It's a way that you can just try it out to see if this is something you would like to do on a more long-term basis. And again, it's a year, so you don't have to feel like you have to fully commit to living abroad. You can do it for 12 months and then go back to, your country of origin, or maybe you want to live in another country after Korea or whatever country you're teaching in. So that is, I think, a nice reason to explore teaching abroad. Also, this hit my mind, maybe this will be 6 reasons to teach abroad, but another reason is if you're someone who has had the experience of teaching in your home country, but you want to see what it's like to explore the educational culture of another place. I know for me, I had a stint of teaching in Brooklyn, New York, and for me, I assumed that I would want to actually become a teacher in the US, and I actually decided within a few months of teaching in the States, I was like, I don't think I actually want to teach in the States. I actually preferred teaching in Korea more than I did in the States. And I think a lot of it had to do with, I felt the kids were a lot more well-behaved here, and that there was more respect for educators in Korea compared to what I felt in the States. And even just the environment, I feel that Korea really invests a lot into education, like what the classrooms have available as far as resources for teachers. I just personally felt more supported and more cared for and respected as a teacher. Like I really just could not see myself wanting to teach in the States. So when I returned to the States for the second time, I had the intention of like, oh, I want to teach in the States now. I enrolled at a university to get like my teaching certificate, but I was like, I don't think I want to do this. Like, and again, I think if you saw my first video about why I chose to make living abroad more long-term at this phase of my life, mentioning the gun violence, I don't want to be a teacher and having to worry about taking my kids in the States as a teacher through gun drills, or having to worry about, am I going to get shot, teaching kids while I'm doing my job and trying to educate them. So I think that if you're someone who's looking for a change and an alternative without fully quitting the profession of teaching altogether, I think that teaching abroad is a good avenue to explore before you fully like throw in the towel, like I'm done with teaching, I don't want to do it anymore. Maybe just a change of environment could be the answer you're looking for. So that is another part I will add to this list. So the next reason is by teaching abroad, it really gives you an opportunity to be in closer proximity to other neighboring continents and countries within those continents. So me being in Korea, I am right next to Japan. There is Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, China. I'm going blank, Philippines, Singapore. So there are so many countries within Asia that you can travel to at a very inexpensive rate compared to if you were to take those flights coming from the US or maybe coming from Europe. Like you're in so much close proximity to explore and experience other countries that are nearby. I think that's an amazing incentive for teaching abroad. And again, going back to a previous reason, this is not something you have to make permanent. You have a 12-month contract. Again, it goes really fast. And if you decide to renew, it's usually for another 12 months, or you can maybe do another 6 months. Maybe you want to tell your employer, like, I don't want to leave yet, but I'm willing to do another 6 months on my contract. So I think it's great if you're someone who really wants to travel and explore other countries. Maybe you're traveling to those countries to see what could be your next destination after you finish your first contract. I think it's an incredible way, very cost effective, and very just, enriching for where you want to go in your life. So that's another reason I feel teaching English abroad is so amazing. And another one on the list is you get the chance to explore new interests. So for me, being from Ohio, we don't have mountains in Ohio. So when I first came here, I remember just seeing mountains like, wow, like those are mountains. I've never seen an actual mountain. And I've had a chance to go hiking on multiple occasions and really like finding myself enjoying outdoors and nature in a way that I didn't really think I would when I lived in the States. Like, Ohio, we have our parks, and I didn't mind going outside, like spending time at a park. But for me to like wanting to join like a hiking group and to just explore being outdoors and in nature in a way that I didn't do so much when I lived in the States. And with Korea also being surrounded by water, there's just so much diverse topography to explore in Korea specifically that I didn't see as much in the US, or at least in Ohio, because Ohio is more landlocked. We have a lake to the north, Lake Erie, and then there's Canada, but Korea has like water surrounded all around it. We also have an island. There's Jeju Island, which is also still on my list to go to. But there's so many beaches, there's mountains, there's just so much beautiful nature that I have been able to become exposed to by living here, and that's something I wouldn't have gotten had I not come all this way. So I really love that. And the last point on this list is that even with teaching abroad, even if say maybe you came from another profession before coming abroad to teach, for all you know, this might open up an avenue for you to want to become an educator in a new chapter of your life, or it may inspire you to explore a business opportunity that might be related to education, or maybe something different altogether, like maybe as a result of teaching children or middle schoolers. Actually, that might be another video. I also have like taught pretty much all age levels at this point. I recently taught adults. I'm currently working at a Montessori kindergarten school. So I feel like I have done almost every age level there is. And this is actually like an age level I'm really enjoying. I didn't know how I would do as a kindergarten teacher, but I actually really love it because it's so creative and the kids are so cute. I'm like, oh, like I want to be a mommy today. But as a result of exploring this opportunity, this can open up business opportunities, new ideas. I feel like I've become so creative working here, like doing more writing, getting ideas for projects that I want to create. And so I think by coming to a new environment, a new country, that can inspire like a new career path, a new business venture, just something that may not have come to you had you stayed in the country you were in, your home country or whatever country. So I just feel that whatever your contract length is, whether you're doing a 12-month, a 6-month, an 18-month, I feel that just the environment in itself can really spark new ideas. You can explore new interests. It could start a new career path that you never imagined. One thing I like about Korea that I am feeling inspired by is there are so many cafes here. Like, in a way, I'm like, maybe, like, I'm feeling inspired to, like, maybe I want to open up a coffee shop. Like, I'm getting ideas, like, what would be an ideal coffee shop if I were to make one? Because there's so many, and I feel like there's always a coffee shop opening. And it's pretty motivating to see that, like, all these independent business owners, you have your coffee chains, but it's nice to see, like, those independent coffee shop owners and just seeing how they create their own vibe in their own space. So that's really inspiring. So I will leave it there. I might come back with another video about reasons to teach abroad, but that's my list for today. So if you are curious about teaching abroad or living abroad and you want to talk with me one-on-one, then please book a discovery call with me. I have a link below in the description, and I'll be available to answer any questions you have about living abroad and my experience. If you want to, again, ask me questions. And I know Korea is on the radar of so many people lately. When I go into Seoul, I see a lot more tourists than I used to see like 10, 12 years ago. And then there's, again, the media, the entertainment, the K-dramas, the K-pop, all of that is really sparking people's interest in wanting to come to Korea and see what it's about. And just people in general are like wanting to make a life outside of the US. A lot of people are just wanting to see what else is out there, like what else is available as far as places to live and explore your best life. So I'm available. Thank you for being here. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.